The rain drums against the kitchen window like fingers tapping in impatient rhythm. Lena watches Mark pour his coffee, steam curling between them like smoke from a dying fire. 10 years of marriage, and she can predict every movement the way. He'll check his phone twice, straighten his tie, kiss her forehead without meeting her eyes. "Late meeting tonight," he says, not looking up. Her chest tightens. Another late meeting. Another evening alone with her laptop, and the growing hollow where her heart used to sit. She wants to reach across the granite island, grab his hands, make him see her, really see her. Of course there is. The words slip out sharper than intended. Mark's eyes finally find hers. For a moment, something flickers their hurt, maybe recognition. But then it's gone, replaced by that polite distance she's grown to hate. "Lena, no, it's fine." She forces a smile that feels like glass cutting her lips. "I'll probably work late too." The lie sits between them, bitter as burnt coffee. She won't work late. She'll go home to their empty house, pour wine she doesn't want, and wonder when they became strangers sharing a bed. After he leaves, she sits in the silence he's left behind. Her phone buzzes a notification from the dating app she downloaded 3 weeks ago. The app she told herself was just for looking, just for remembering what it felt like to be wanted. Evan, good morning, beautiful. Coffee later. Her pulse quickens in a way it hasn't for months. Evan, with his easy smile and the way he looks at her like she's the most fascinating woman he's ever met. 28 years old, no wedding ring, no obligations, no history of shared dreams, slowly suffocating under the weight of routine. Her fingers hover over the screen. This is dangerous territory. She knows this. But God, when did she become so invisible? When did Mark stop seeing her as a woman and start seeing her as furniture? Maybe. Where? The response comes immediately. Evan, that little place on 5th. The one with the red door. To PM, she knows the place. Intimate, dark. The kind of cafe where people have conversations they can't have anywhere else. Her wedding ring catches the light as she types "See you there." The guilt hits immediately. But underneath it, something else stirs. Anticipation. The electric thrill of possibility. When did she last feel this alive? She thinks of Mark's goodbye. Kiss perfunctory, aimed at her forehead like she's his sister. When did they stop kissing like lovers? When did passion become scheduled intimacy? Desire become duty? Her phone buzzes again. Evan, can't wait to see those eyes in person. Heat floods her cheeks. Someone notices her eyes. Someone thinks about seeing her. The feeling is intoxicating, dangerous, necessary as oxygen. She looks around their perfect kitchen, granite counters, stainless steel appliances, everything in its place, everything except her heart. Somewhere along the way, she'd lost herself in this life they'd built, became the marketing executive, the good wife, the woman who had everything except the one thing that mattered. She deserves to feel wanted. She deserves to remember what desire feels like. If Mark won't give her that, maybe someone else will. The red door, 2 o'clock, 6 hours to decide if she's the woman who plays it safe or the woman who takes what she needs. Outside, the rain intensifies, each drop like a heartbeat counting down to a moment that will change everything. She doesn't know it yet, but the choice is already made, has been made since the moment she downloaded that app, since the first time she felt her pulse quicken at a stranger's message. The only question now is whether she'll have the courage to walk through that red door. The cafe smells like vanilla and secrets. Lena pushes through the red door at exactly 2 p.m., her heart hammering against her ribs like it's trying to escape. The interior is all exposed brick and soft lighting, intimate tables tucked into shadowy corners. She spots Evan immediately. He's more beautiful than his photos suggested. Dark hair that looks like he's run his fingers through it, wearing a charcoal sweater that clings to shoulders broader than she remembered. When he sees her, his face transforms into that smile that made her fingers tremble over her phone. Lena. He stands, and the way he says her name makes her feel like she's someone worth saying. You're even more stunning than I imagined. Heat creeps up her neck. When did Mark last call her stunning? She can't remember. Evan pulls out her chair, his hand briefly touching her lower back. Just a whisper of contact that sends electricity racing through her nerve endings. I wasn't sure you'd come, he admits, settling across from her. The table is small enough that their knees almost touch. Neither was I. The honesty surprises her. His eyes brown like warm honey study her face with an intensity that makes her feel exposed, not uncomfortably, but thrillingly, like he's memorizing her features, cataloging each freckle, each expression. What changed your mind? The question hangs between them, loaded with possibility. She thinks of Mark's empty goodbye, the kiss that felt like habit rather than hunger. I needed to remember what it feels like to be seen. And are you seen there? Eyes lock. The air between them shimmers with tension so thick she can barely breathe. By you, yes. A server approaches, breaking the spell. They order coffee neither of them will finish, both understanding that caffeine isn't what they're here for. Tell me something real, Evan says when they're alone again. His voice is low, intimate, designed for sharing secrets in dark corners. Real? She laughs, but it sounds fragile. I don't remember what that is anymore. Try. She takes a shaky breath. I feel like I'm disappearing, like I'm becoming transparent in my own life. Not to me. He leans forward, close enough that she can smell his cologne, something clean and masculine that makes her want to close her eyes and inhale deeper. To me, you're the only thing in focus. The words hit her like a physical caress. When did someone last speak to her like this? Like she matters beyond her productivity, her usefulness, her ability to maintain their perfect life. This is dangerous. She whispers. The best things usually are. His hand moves across the table, fingertips brushing hers. Such a simple touch, barely contact at all. But her entire body responds like he set her on fire. She should pull away, should stand up, walk out, go home to her husband and pretend this never happened. Instead, she lets her fingers curl around his. I'm married, she says, but her voice lacks conviction. I know. His thumb traces across her knuckles, and she realizes she's not wearing her ring, left it on the kitchen counter like a small rebellion. Are you happy? The question cuts deeper than any touch. Happy? She can't remember what happy feels like. Comfortable, yes. Secure, yes. But happy? I don't know how to answer that. That's an answer. They sit in charged silence, hands touching, both knowing they're balanced on a knife's edge. One wrong move and everything changes. One right move and everything changes. I should go, she says, but doesn't move. Should you? My husband isn't here. Evan's voice is gentle but firm. You are. I am. This moment is. Her phone buzzes. A text from Mark, meeting running later than expected. Don't wait up. The words sting, but underneath the hurt, something darker unfurls. Permission. Justification. The space to want someone just for herself. Maybe I don't have to go, she whispers. Evan's smile could power the city. Maybe you don't. 3 weeks later, Lena finds herself in Evan's apartment, rain streaking the windows like tears down glass cheeks. She told Mark she was working late again. The lies come easier now, sliding off her tongue like silk. The space is everything. Their house isn't. Lived in, warm, books scattered on surfaces. Art that means something hanging crooked on walls. It smells like him, that clean, masculine scent that makes her dizzy. Wine? Evan asks. Already moving to the kitchen, she watches the way his jeans fit. The casual confidence in every movement, so different from Mark's careful precision. Please, she wanders to his bookshelf, running her fingers along worn spines. Poetry collections, philosophy, novels marked with dozens of bookmarks, evidence of a mind that still hungers for beauty. You read Neruda, she says, pulling out a collection she recognizes. Love is so short, forgetting is so long, he quotes. Appearing behind her with 2 glasses of red wine, she turns, suddenly trapped between his body and the bookshelf. He's close enough that she can see the flecks of gold in his brown eyes, close enough that she can feel the heat radiating from his skin. Is it? She whispers. Short? Depends what kind of love you're talking about. His free hand comes up to trace her jawline with fingertips that make her shiver. Some love burns bright and brief. Some love. His thumb brushes across her bottom lip. Some love changes everything. Her breath catches. This is the moment, the line she hasn't crossed. The boundary that once broken can never be repaired. She thinks of Mark, probably still at his office, surrounded by spreadsheets and quarterly reports. Does he even remember what it feels like to want someone so desperately it physically hurts? Evan, she breathes, but she doesn't know if it's a warning or a prayer. Tell me to stop. His voice is rough velvet, his mouth hovering inches from hers. Tell me you don't want this. But she can't, because she does want this, wants it with a desperation that frightens her, wants to feel alive again, to remember what it's like to be desired rather than simply tolerated, instead of words. She rises on her toes and closes the distance between them. The kiss is everything she's forgotten. Passion could be urgent, hungry, electric. His hand tangles in her hair, his body presses against hers, and she feels like she's drowning in the best possible way. Wine glasses forgotten, books scattered to the floor. Nothing exists but this moment, this man, this awakening. When they break apart, both breathing hard, his forehead rests against hers. God, Lena. Her name sounds like worship on his lips. Guilt crashes over her like a cold wave, but underneath it, something else surges. Triumph, power, the intoxicating rush of being wanted exactly as she is. No performance required, no careful maintenance of someone else's expectations. I should feel guilty, she says, surprised by her own honesty. Do you? She searches her heart, expecting to find shame, regret, the weight of betrayal. Instead, she finds something unexpected. I feel alive. His smile is soft, understanding. You deserve to feel alive. Do I? The question echoes in her mind. For 10 years, she's been the perfect wife, the successful career woman, everything everyone expected her to be. When did she stop asking what she wanted? This can't be complicated. She whispers against his lips. It already is. He's right, but she pushes the thought away. This is her secret, her rebellion, her way of taking something back. Mark will never know. This private world with Evan will remain untouched by her regular life. Her phone buzzes. Another text from Mark, grabbing dinner with the team. Late night. She shows Evan the screen. He reads it, something unreadable flickering across his features. He doesn't deserve you, he says quietly. The words should sting, should trigger her defensive instincts. Instead, they feel like absolution, like permission to want what she wants without apology. She kisses him again, deeper this time, tasting wine and possibility, and the dangerous sweetness of secrets. Outside, the rain continues to fall, washing away footprints, erasing evidence, keeping secrets safe in the dark. 2 months into her double life, Lena notices Mark changing. He's been coming home later, but when he does arrive, there's something different about him, a lightness she hasn't seen in years. He hums in the shower, spends more time choosing clothes, smiles at his phone in ways that send ice through her veins. Tonight, she watches him getting ready for another work dinner, and the careful attention he pays to his appearance makes her stomach clench. New cologne? She asks, trying to sound casual. Mark pauses, his hand on the bottle. Rachel, one of the team members, mentioned that the one I usually wear is too heavy for close meetings. Rachel, the name hits her like a slap. Mark has mentioned her before, casual references to a co-worker who shares his love of hiking, who suggested the music playing in his car last week, who apparently has opinions about his cologne. Sounds like Rachel has a lot of opinions. Something flickers across Mark's face, a small smile that doesn't reach his eyes. She's observant. The word hangs in the air like smoke. Observant. When did Lena stop being observant about her own husband? Too busy being observed by someone else. After he leaves, she sits in their bedroom, staring at the space where he stood. Her phone buzzes. Evan, as if summoned by her emotional turmoil. Evan, missing you. Tomorrow? She types back quickly, needing the distraction, the validation, the escape from the growing unease in her chest. Yes, your place, 7 p.m. But sleep doesn't come easy that night. She lies awake, listening for Mark's key in the door, trying to identify the emotion churning in her stomach. It takes her until 3 a.m. to name it: jealousy. The next evening, Evan opens his door wearing nothing but jeans, and that smile that usually makes her forget her own name. But tonight, something feels different. Desperate, she practically falls into his arms, kissing him with an urgency that surprises them both. Hey, he says, pulling back to study her face. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. She kisses him again, harder, trying to lose herself in sensation, in the feeling of being wanted. But Evan isn't fooled. He guides her to the couch, keeping space between them despite her attempts to eliminate it. "Talk to me, Lena." "I don't want to talk." Her voice cracks, betraying her. "I want to forget." "Forget what?" The question breaks something open inside her. "That I think my husband is having an affair." The words hang in the air like an accusation. Evan's face goes very still. "What makes you think that?" She tells him about the changes, the late nights, the new attention to appearance, the mysterious. Rachel, as she speaks, she watches something shift in Evan's expression. Not surprise. Something else. Something that makes her blood run cold. "Evan." Her voice is barely a whisper. "What aren't you telling me?" He's quiet for a long moment. Then, "Maybe he found out about us." The world tilts sideways. "That's impossible. I've been careful. We've been careful. Have we?" Evan stands, runs his hands through his hair. "Your friend Amy saw us at the cafe last month." Amy wouldn't, but even as she says it, she knows. Amy, who's always been protective of Mark. Amy, who never approved of the way Lena complained about her marriage. Amy, who would absolutely tell Mark if she thought he should know. Oh God. The room spins. "How long have you known?" "I suspected, after you mentioned his behavior changes. But I wasn't sure until..." "Until what?" Evan looks at her with something that might be pity. "Until I saw him at Mountainside Cafe yesterday, with a woman. They looked happy." The words hit her like physical blows. While she's been playing at being free, Mark has been actually living. While she's been justifying her secret relationship, he's been having one too. "I need to go home." She stands on shaking legs. "Lena." "Wait." But she's already grabbing her purse, her keys, her shattered sense of reality. The irony isn't lost on her. She opened their marriage in secret, and somehow it stayed open. Now she has to face the possibility that Mark doesn't want it closed. Mark is in the kitchen when she gets home, making tea like it's any other Tuesday night. But Lena can see the difference now, the way he holds himself, the quiet confidence that wasn't there before. The man who used to kiss her forehead absently now moves with purpose. "We need to talk," she says. He doesn't look surprised, just nods. Turning off the kettle, "I figured we would eventually." Her hands shake as she sits at their granite island, the same spot where this all began months ago, with his casual announcement of another late meeting. "I know about Rachel." Mark's laugh is dry, humorless. "And I know about Evan." The words hit her like ice water. They stare at each other across the kitchen that once felt like home, and now feels like a courtroom. "How long?" she whispers. "Amy told me 3 months ago." "You?" 2 weeks. The lie comes automatically, protective. But then she stops, forces herself to be honest. "I suspected something was different about you. Evan confirmed it yesterday. So we both know." Mark leans against the counter, studies her with eyes that used to hold love and now hold something more complicated. "The question is, what do we do about it?" Lena's chest constricts. This isn't how she imagined this conversation. She'd pictured tears, shouting, drama. Not this calm, surgical dissection of their marriage. "I want to stop," she says suddenly. "I want us to stop. Close this, whatever this is. Go back to how we were, do you?" Mark's voice is gentle, but there's steel underneath. "Because how we were was you feeling invisible and me feeling like a stranger in my own life. The truth of it cuts deep. We can fix that. We can work on us, go to counseling, take a vacation. Remember why we fell in love." Lena, the way he says her name, makes her heart crack. It's the same tone Evan uses, but where Evan's voice holds desire, Mark's holds farewell. "I don't think you understand what happened here. I made a mistake. We both did. But we can know." The word stops her cold. "We didn't both make the same mistake. You decided our marriage wasn't enough. You decided I wasn't enough. You went looking for something else without ever asking me if I wanted to look too." Tears blur her vision. "I was lonely. I felt invisible. I just wanted to feel wanted. I know. Rachel helped me understand that." His voice softens slightly. "Do you know what she said when I told her about us? About you?" Lena can't speak, can only shake her head. "She said you and I were like two people starving at opposite ends of a banquet table, each convinced the other had all the food." Mark sits across from her, close enough to touch but feeling miles away. Maybe if we talk to each other instead of looking elsewhere, we can still talk. We can still fix this. Mark reaches across the table, covers her hand with his. The touch she's craved for so long now feels like goodbye. Lena, sweetheart. The endearment breaks her heart. We didn't open our marriage, you broke it. And I found someone who wants the pieces. The words hang in the air like smoke, impossible to take back. She sees her future spreading out before her divorce papers, dividing assets, explaining to friends and family how 10 years crumbled in the space of a few months. I love you, she whispers desperately. I know you do. Mark's eyes are sad, kind, final. But love isn't always enough to fix what we break. Sometimes it's just enough to let go gracefully. Outside, the rain has stopped. The silence feels like an ending, like the last page of a story she never wanted to finish. She thinks of Evan, who never promised her forever. She thinks of the woman she used to be, before she lost herself in someone else's attention. Most of all, she thinks of Mark, her husband, her almost was. The man she's loved and lost to her own hunger for something more. Sometimes, she realizes, more is just another word for not enough.